Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Vertag and Chibi Bree are back from their latest adventure.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Golden Feather. This is, podcast number 85. And today is June 25th, 2021. And we have BCG with us, Big Chillin Guy. How you doing?
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing pretty well, thank you for asking. And of course, we can't forget about my co-host, DJ Vertek.
Oh, hi, friends. Welcome.
And we're happy to have you here. And hello, Lord.
Thanks for having me. It's been a while.
It has.
It's been a while since the last one.
Been a stranger.
Right? Honestly, I was gonna say, I think we're finally starting to swap back to like people that we've had on at least a year ago or longer at this point. There's been so many things happening. New background for me, same background for Vertek. Vertek really liked that background, so
I like Vertek's background.
Kept it.
Yeah. But going into our podcast updates or occurrences with our podcast, not really too much to inform on here outside of being prepped for the Alpha 1 releasing June 9th for content creators and people a part of Alpha 1, and the non-NDA that comes along with that. So that'll be exciting. BCG, are you planning to stream during that time as well?
Of course. That's like my number one thing I'm gonna do during that time.
Nice.
So my plan is pretty much to stream as much as I can and record as much footage as possible. So as soon as Alpha 1 is over, that I have way too much footage I can use to make content.
That is fair. And speaking of you making content, why don't you tell everyone who you are, what you do, things like that?
Okay, good. Where do I start? Okay, my name is the Big Jig Giant, or BCG, or the White Knight Nemesis, Slayer of Weeps, Lord of Salt, or how some of my friends call me, just Bob. What do I do? I've been making content for Ashes since early 2017, so I've been around the block. Been on this podcast before, been on other ones before. I do have my own podcast, which, funny fact, in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna have my personal 4-year anniversary for doing podcasts for Ashes. And then a couple of weeks after that, we're gonna have the 100th episode of the discussion round. Nice. So besides that, what do? I do videos if I can on Ashes.
You also have your Discord, right?
Yeah. More of the like not information type of video, more like the point of view perspective of a fan. And I also help other content creators on the unofficial Discords to improve their content for Ashes.
Let me go grab that link real quick while you're talking.
Oh, yeah, let me see.
I think it's this one.
If not, I can post it in this Twitch chat if you want.
Can you actually send it to me just so I can make sure you don't get banned?
Yes, ma'am. I will do that.
There you go.
Thank you, ban bot, best bot. Just kidding.
Let's see. Do I do anything else? I don't think I do anything else. Oh no, I am a big pain in the ass for the moderators on the Ashes Discord. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's fun.
Guests now. Only the bot. The bot doesn't dictate between them.
Yeah, the bot does not discriminate.
Nope, no discrimination. Ooh. So your content creator Discord, which I just linked, by the way, for those of you on the live Twitch. For those of you later in YouTube, I will be putting that in the description, and let me actually put that there to remind myself later. Okay, Paul. So BCG has made a unofficial Ashes of Creation Discord for content creators, where content creators like ourselves and a lot of others that have been around the world, around the block as well, are all there. So different times of day, different perspectives, lots of input, lots of questions. So if you ever have a question, go over there. Maybe use the little search function to see if somebody's asked your question before. And if you can't find it, feel free to ask and see, what people are thinking. I think the last time I looked, we were giving thoughts and input on other people's content, right? They would post their episode or something and say, hey, what do you guys think? And people would leave feedback.
Exactly, yes. So the idea behind the Discord, if you want, I can explain it really quick. The Discord was an idea me and other long-term content creators had, because at a certain point in time, there was no Ashes of Creation content creator program, and this was all before the lazy peon video. At that time you had almost no big content creators cover Ashes on a regular basis, and you had a lot of small content creators, and there were some content creators under us. They have a little bit more experience, and we figured it would be a good place for us to have a Discord where we can help each other, because no content creator, in my opinion, knows everything.
Yeah.
So if you, for example, I'm horrible with audio. So if I have an audio question, I know Vertex, for example, is really good with audio. So every time somebody asks something about audio, I tag Vertex. I'm a stickler and I'm really good when it comes to graphical stuff. So we just figured helping each other till the official content creator program goes live would be really beneficial to everybody. And so far we have, over 200 active content creators. You have almost everybody that is big within Ashes, from you guys, me, Lazy Peon is on there, Jaylon is on there. It's, it's not really a community. Honestly, it's more like a tool with the main goal to improve Ashes of Creation content. That was the main goal behind it. Sorry.
Yeah. And that's why I thought it was super important to bring you on, especially right now, as the content creator program is open for Intrepid, and they even noticed that there was way too many people applying, to the point they had to hire somebody else to help them with that. So
there is an underground bidding pool. Me and a bunch of other content creators, we started bidding on who we think will get in and who will not.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who's betting for who, but it's actually fun to see what people think. It's really fun.
Nice. I'm the only bidding I've ever done is a game of poker with Hershey Kisses, and I lost all of my Hershey Kisses, and I was like, yep, I'm never bidding again.
I am horrible at poker. I have the worst poker face.
Theater has a question for you. It says, for BCG, how did the German shows go for you?
Okay, so I lost the bet to Jaylon, right? I was playing Chivalry 2, and I said I can hit somebody in the head with an axe who was halfway across the map. Of course, I didn't hit, and I had to make a video in German. I don't know why he wanted me to make a video in German, but I made a video in German, and it doesn't get a lot of views. Most of the views actually come from Jaylon himself, but it was fun making it. It was a little bit cringe hearing me in German, but it's fun. I had fun making it. When I can do my little intros or my little gimmicks and clips, I'm having fun.
Nice.
Hey, at least you had fun with it. It's kind of the point of doing the content creation, right? You gotta enjoy it. If you don't
That's
enjoy
what I
it,
tell. I mean, I have a lot of people since they announced the content creator program. A lot of the smaller, more active content creators that joined after the Lazy Peon video, they all are now in overdrive. And I'm having a lot of conversations with a lot of them, especially when it comes to thumbnails, because I don't want to honk my horn or pat me on my own shoulder, but I think my thumbnails are pretty good, and a lot of other people's thumbnails are not. So we're having a lot of conversation when it comes to like brand guides, especially to brand styles and all that stuff. And something I tell everybody is don't stress yourself out. You're not doing this for a living. Make sure you're gonna keep having fun. As long as you have fun, it will show in your content.
Yeah.
Don't stress about your upload schedule or anything like that.
I'm the worst with thumbnails. I'm like the most basic thumbnail ever. Our logo right in the middle, the name of the podcast, and the date that is recorded. That's it. That's the thumbnail. Nothing interesting, but you'll always know it's ours.
Exactly. I mean, for you guys, I feel like, okay, so I always try, like my main thing is I always try out new things. I used to do exactly the same thing you guys do. And then I noticed there's like always these trends on YouTube and on Twitch as well. You know, when like thumbnails change, or when on Twitch, you know, the overlays change. So I always try to stick with those trends and try out how they perform. And I switched to the more like clickbaity titles, even though they're not really clickbaity. And I have to say, it kind of works, and I'm always open to trying new things. So if you guys ever need help with a new thumbnail template, please let me know. It will be my pleasure.
Maybe at some point.
Yeah.
Once we, because we're still settling in the new place here, and once we do, I'm going to start doing a lot of the streaming part on my computer now instead of her doing it.
Yeah, I was.
And
it came down to like today. I was like, "Can we go out afterwards?" He was like, "Have you seen this house?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know."
We have everything just kind of piled roughly, kind of generally in the
where
area
it's
supposed to be put away in. Kind of. Sometimes it's a room away because there wasn't more room in the place it's supposed to go.
Yeah, there's like a trash can full of glassware because that was left over at the apartment, and I was just trying to get it over here, and I was like, just like go in there. I don't know where to put this.
I know that because I moved into my current apartment like 2 years ago.
Oh gosh.
And I still feel like I still have to unpack a couple of things.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for 2 years, and I don't think we'll fully unpack, but we'll unpack as much as we can.
Yeah, my goal is to be as fully unpacked as we can possibly get in like the next month. And just be done with it.
Yeah.
And not have boxes of stuff sitting around. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I might move soon again, so.
Nice. Stressful,
that's the
but
thing.
Always nice to have new surroundings.
Yeah, true.
Oh man. So, community spotlight. I moved this. I know you had this under news, but there's plenty of news with the live stream, and I felt like this was more community related because Simurg from the Pathfinders show is having this Sunday Maggie on from 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste this for you guys, but please don't miss it. We will be trying to tune in as much as we can. I think that's about the time we wrap up family stuff on Sunday, so we should be able to listen in on the way home. I might drive while he messages everybody, but
we'll catch like the last half of that.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, it is the giant. It's the steampunk dude.
The steampunk dude.
I love it. But please don't miss this because I mean it's Maggie and also it's Simurg, so like I really love just having Maggie on different people's shows and Intrepid staff in general. It's just really cool to see them get interviewed and not have to talk about stuff. Yes,
it's definitely worth a watch.
Okay. While Verteg is clicking back and forth on things,
I am.
Let's unpack the live stream today a little bit. Goodness. I'm like, yes, I know. It's at the end.
I was entertaining myself.
You guys have to see like the behind the scenes show that happens in the document sometimes.
I need to start recording that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just have a different thing over here.
Hey, Bartik, good time.
Bartik, welcome in.
Welcome in.
Hey,
You know
Bartik.
this BCG guy.
Oh yeah.
Nobody
Missed his
knows.
intro.
Nobody knows
Big
me.
Chillin Guy over here. Theater, thank you. 20 minutes late is late. You're fired.
Thank you, TL. Much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much. We super appreciate that, and we're getting emotes put together. I've got a list here, and we just need to find time after settling to get them made, or maybe soon so that they can get made while we're settling. I don't know, one of the two, probably the second one. Anyway, back to Ash's news. So live stream today for me didn't really explain too much new stuff outside of the inner workings of Ash's, like them looking for a new staff member for overseeing the content creator stuff, which they've mentioned a couple of times. I think they mentioned something about getting a new video guy to make videos for them too. So
They should take somebody from the community.
Possibly.
They should honestly.
But like they'd have to be out in like their area specifically
Not necessarily.
to make videos for them in their office.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I cannot really go into details, but in my old job, our marketing department, which was the department that handled all sorts of videos that went out to the public, we were located like an hour away from where I live. And our video guy was all the way in Russia. So, I mean, if they have somebody, I don't think they necessarily need somebody in the office.
Well, I'm just thinking somebody with the good camera equipment, like maybe the gimbal and stuff, to make sure everything's like smooth and like going well.
Oh, I thought you meant
To
like,
do like
you know,
the
like
behind
making.
the scenes stuff. No, like the editing, totally get that. The editing stuff can be like any.
No, I thought more. I thought about somebody, you know, recording in-game footage and stuff like that.
Oh, that too.
That's what I was.
That can be done anywhere, also. Yeah. But they were talking. You guys apparently have been asking them for PayPal, and they said that they're inputting PayPal now. So, yay! PayPal coming.
After 4 years, yes, finally, PayPal.
Oh my gosh.
Super excited.
On
Better late than never, right?
Right. On the inside of the gaming stuff, though, Vertag, what did you notice that they chatted about today?
It may be just because we.
Also, Vertag finally got to test with a good computer, so he saw Ashes of Creation for the first time the way that I've been seeing it this entire time, and he's in love again.
Holy mackerel! Holy mackerel! It's a whole different game, I'm telling you. Got a better graphics card and a better monitor, and life is much better.
Life is good.
Yes. Telling you, like it may not be what's the word where they set it up and fine tune it for graphics and all that. It may not be that word,
Optimized?
whatever that is. What was it?
Is it optimized?
Yeah, optimized. That's it. It may not be optimized for like higher graphic settings, but it still looks a ton better on a bigger graphics card than on a smaller one that's supposed to still be capable of the same 1080p.
Which one did you get?
I went from a 1660 to a 3070.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's a world of difference, even though it's not optimized yet.
Your voice went garbly. Sorry.
I'm running it on a 1080 Ti, and I mean, I didn't play test the last couple times because I don't know, I had other real life stuff to do, or it was really late. But every time I log in for a test, I'm like, yes, this is gonna be so good, because I can still remember Alpha Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of things looking better.
right there. That's the only reason I need to be excited.
There's the mage from like Alpha 0 to now also.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All the Kickstarter
Gigantic change. But yeah, Bartek, I got it in a used computer. Somebody bought it, brand new, played around with it for a while, played some Warzone, and was like, meh, I don't have time for video games. And so sold it. Like, super cheap.
Fun fact, they thought I was a scammer because I said I forgot to update my stuff from California, and they were just like, who is this person?
I'm getting scam vibes from you. No lie.
I was like, no, I need to get Vertec a better it's for my husband. But
yes, let go, it's amazing.
Passive skills, question mark?
I gotta be honest, I have not watched the live stream because I was doing like I said, some real life stuff. So want to fill me in? I know Bacon was on, so I'm gonna rewatch it probably tomorrow or on Sunday.
So I don't know if it was because maybe I missed the last test or two, like the last spot test or two, where they were just like, hey, log in an hour and play. But they apparently have added in passive skills now. So the only things I saw were he was playing a mage, and in the video he highlighted the top two, and one of them said like mana recovery. It was a totally separate set of skill points too. It wasn't like shared skill points between active or passive.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think. Yeah, because I went on like Tuesday or something like that earlier this week when there was a test, and it wasn't there then. So
yeah, Bartek
I'm
says
kind of
that
thinking
they were in the last two tests.
Yeah,
they said we haven't
it's
played
potential
with
that
this
they're
yet.
just generic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I didn't miss anything because I just know it wasn't there when I tested on Tuesday, which was hey, let's jump in and do stuff, and then we didn't do the stuff necessarily. But I had a bunch of money, so I had all the mounts and armor that I could possibly want, and it was amazing.
Nice.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I guess they probably added that in with the new combat system, with the newest build that they're working on right now.
I mean, passive skills and abilities will be like. I didn't have any doubt that stuff like that would have been in game. So I'm just surprised that they already put it in before the new revamp of the combat.
I'm somewhat surprised that, and I don't know why, I guess, but I'm somewhat surprised that they use separate points outside of the active skills. So you don't get like one pool of points to choose from, and you can either boost your passive skills or your active skills. No, they give you separate points to do both.
I mean, that allows for more customization, and the more you can customize your character, the more I'm all the way for it. I'm a huge sucker for customization, because if you have the more ways you have, it is at least my point of view, the more ways you have to customize your character, the more ways you have to break any sort of meta builds.
Yeah.
And you also have more ways to adjust and balance stuff.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if they would give you just one giant pool of points to go with, you would be even more customized away from how somebody else is set up. Because you would have a certain finite set of points, and you don't have to spend, say, 300 points in this tree somewhere. You could put 200 of those points in a totally different tree if you don't care about your passives at all.
Yeah.
That's true.
It would actually add more, which I guess could be an argument to not do it that way, because there's already going to be so much other diversity and variance and everything that they're going to have to balance for. So maybe that would add a little bit too much imbalance.
No, I can see that. I mean, balancing is going to be one of Ash's biggest issues.
Probably. I mean, they have 64 classes to balance. That's a lot of classes. And then also, like, the passive skills and abilities and stuff like that have to be balanced. And I'm sure there's going to go through different waves of what's OP, like there is in any other MMORPG.
You know what I wonder? how often will they hotfix and balance stuff?
I know they said like continuously, but I don't know what they mean by continuously.
Like, will it be once or twice a week, once a month, once a quarter?
I want to say that, and I could be wrong on this. I want to say that I recalled them saying something about some kind of a monthly update, but quarterly, like big things.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that memory though.
I would like it to be like hot fixes once a week, at least in the first couple like months, or at least a hot fix when certain metas start to crystallize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as soon as you notice, okay, now everybody's running a certain mage build, that mage build gets nerfed a week later.
I mean, honestly, and this is something that wasn't clear in my mind until somebody else explained it to me, but having metas that can last for a certain amount of time is actually healthy for a game, because then people can play, and this is assuming that the developers actually monitor that and make purposeful changes. Then every class is going to have its time to shine. It's not going to be like rogues are always going to be dirt because everybody else is getting balanced and rogues are just left to be.
Yeah, I mean,
or something like that. Like it would always be balanced. Like, hey, let's go ahead and tweak these guys back down. And it's been like a year since a warrior's gotten a win in PvP, so let's go ahead and give them a boost on their stabby stab.
No, that makes sense, and I agree with that. Every class once in a while, like there was a time, like early Cataclysm and World of Warcraft, for example, I played an elemental shaman, and the class just sucked. Literally, nobody, bottom barrel right there, damage-wise, everything. And later on, elemental shamans became gods in like AoE fights. The issue, or not, it's not an issue. It's just something that I find a little bit tricky. You know how Intrepid stated that they want to use the whole rock paper scissor system? How will that impact meta builds? For example, if a rogue or a tank is now like the best thing in the game, what will be its counterpart, and how will that whole thing balance?
That's a good question.
That's just something
that's going to be the really fun thing to watch, to be honest.
I'm not gonna watch it. It's gonna be a pain in the butt. That's what it's gonna be, a pain in the butt for Intrepid, but I'm not gonna worry about that. I know they're gonna do a good job. Because otherwise I will make a video.
Yeah. Catching up on chat, they're saying that they like the added passives, but they feel like incredibly basic right now. And that the third set of skill point stuff that we're going to be needing is class-specific weapon and armor skills. That's at least was a question from Lore. Bartek says, I like that they're combined points, just don't like how the generic they look, but that may be a placeholder, which is fair, it's Alpha 1. And then Wizzy McNasty says, what we're able to tell the passives were for tier 1 from the short clip we got to see was mined via Wembley. Tier 1 mana regen first rank is plus 1%. Attack damage rank 1 is increased by 3. So just kind of commenting a little bit more on the passives, I guess.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing that makes me think that maybe they're not necessarily generic for all the classes. I mean, I haven't heard if they're supposed to be or not, but
I mean, right now I think they will be. Remember how Steven said every class uses mana?
Yeah.
So they might be generic for everybody. And then maybe not all of them, but some of them, like the mana regen and stuff like that. Like, for example, if you have a cast heavy class like a healer or a mage, you want a passive that regenerates more mana. But if you have a tank, you might want a passive that increase your health over your mana regen.
Yeah. So
I could see them having the passives be the same for everybody and everybody just picking different stuff, but it would be cool if every archetype would get certain specific passives that only they have, and then they have a bunch of other ones that everybody has.
Yeah, because the problem I would have is if it's the same for every class, right? The same for all 8 classes right now are going to be the exact same. What was it, like 2, 3, 2, 3 or something like that for the skills? Like there's 2 on the first tier and then 3 and then 2 and then 3. So they're going to have the same ones. Now, out of 8 classes, how many variations do you think there's really going to be between those different tiers? Like, let's say you have a tank. Sure, like most of them who are trying to actually tank are probably going to take the mana, right? Because they're going to want to be able to make sure that they have the taunt when they need to taunt. They have a oh my gosh, save yourself skill with like super defense mitigation. They're going to want those skills. They're going to want to interrupt, their pulls, their everything available as needed, more so than damage.
Yeah.
And healers are going to probably take, I don't know, the mana.
Yes.
And so you're basically giving people kind of default like trails. They're going to have very, very limited actual choices. So why even put it there? Why not just make it like, hey, you're a tank, you get the mana passive next?
I mean, okay, here's what I'm thinking, or rather I'm hoping that right now everything in Alpha 1 is only there for testing phases, and that a lot of the things that will make it into beta or even release, or even maybe even in Alpha 2, is not yet open to the public. So what I would like to imagine, or what I would like to hope, is that the skill trees by themselves will be a lot more in depth than they are now. I don't know if they ever stated something like that, or at least I don't remember it. Because if stuff stays similar to what it is now, then I would agree with you, what you just said. But if they decide, or if they are planning to have a more in-depth skill tree for all the different archetypes, that will be a lot of fun. But if it's just really basic and everybody gets the same, then I agree. Then there's no point in even having a skill tree for that. But I doubt they would go down that line, because Steven knows how fun it is to build your character and plan it out with your skill tree. So I doubt that will be the case. I think. Yeah. I hope. I don't know. I know nothing. I'm Jon Snow.
I know nothing. I just make up answers. Sometimes
I just make up answers. I just talk. It's 1 a.m. for me. I'm sleeping.
There you go. Prophetic dreams.
Zelen says, just based on what passives you showed on stream tonight, I can't see how they would change. Those are very generic and things you'd want on any class. Yeah, Princess Kenny says, metas tend to develop when everybody has access to top tier equipment. I get the feeling most people will not have access to this gear, so a meta might not be the end all be all.
Yeah, and see, that's still, I don't know. Like until maybe getting a chance to really play with it and experience it with a couple different classes, I don't like how it feels to have very generic passives that you choose between all the different classes. Like, make it a meaningful choice, and that's been the tenet this entire time. Is choices are going to be meaningful.
Yeah.
And if your choices are between 2 mediocre things that it's whatever, then maybe it's a meaningful choice because you're going to have what flavor mediocre. But if it's one rational choice and one that's like, well, I guess it'd be kind of cool, then you're always going to pick the one that's always the best and most effective, right?
Yeah.
Because I can only see a tank that's like soloing picking damage, maybe.
I'm just gonna wait till Alpha 2, Beta 1, and then I'm gonna either rant or praise it.
That's fair.
One or the other.
And Akir, I see your question. I'll come right back to that because I feel like that's going to be.
Oh yeah, I saw that question.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a good question to answer later. But Dante asks, on the topic, would you guys prefer more complicated passives with more depth or simpler passives? For example, passives like swords have a higher critical chance. Maces ignore a percentage of armor. Daggers do more damage from the back versus flat damage percent increases.
Well, for that one, What's your sounded like you already had something.
The more complex, the more in depth, the more customization you can have, the happier I am. a lot of the current MMORPGs are really, really boring when it comes to that sort of stuff. World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, even Guild Wars 2, all this stuff, you know, you're building a character. You're not following a certain, you know, okay, most people follow a plan or a build they find online, right? And way back in the day, God, I'm getting old. I keep saying way back in the day, you know, builds were a little bit more complex in certain games. But nowadays it's just like, yeah, pick this, and be done with it. And I haven't seen like a really, really, really in-depth build guide for any like type of game in a while. And I feel like it's, you know, I understand the developer side, that the more in-depth and complex any sort of character builder is, from stats to gear to skills, the harder it is, especially in MMORPG, to balance that over a long period of time.
Yeah, but the thing there is, and I'm sorry, it didn't sound like your point was totally done, but just to drop this in there as a direct counter to that, the more in-depth and crazy and complex it is, the easier it is to balance when it's something like Steven's saying this is going to be, which is rock, paper, scissors. Yeah. You only have to balance it versus maybe 2 or 3 other classes, and that's it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm hoping for. My point I want to make is, I want it to be complex. They're not going to balance it. Steven said themselves, they're not aiming to balance on a 1 versus 1 basis, right? They're going to balance on a group scale. So that means they don't have to go in depth and balance individual stuff to make sure, I don't know, mage versus cleric is all fair and neat, right? They need to only go in when they see, okay, raids are now running 40 clerics, nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to build my character in a certain way that I enjoy playing. Right? I don't want to be forced into playing a character a certain way because first off the game dictates me to play this way, right? Or it's the best way to play the character. I want to have a viable option, and in most games nowadays you don't have that. You have one build, that's it. Everything else, take it away, because you don't have more options. And the more options you have, I feel like the more you get invested into your character.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so
I agree.
My take on... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just said I agree.
Okay. I was going to say, in my response to that, I would say that a little bit of both, as far as complicated passives with more depth, or simpler passives. And the reason I say that is, if they are to be complex passives, for one, I think that there needs to be more selection. There needs to be 5 or 6 different selections with very specific and complex and deep impact upon your character. If there's going to be only 2 or 3, they should be basic. And the reason I say that is because if you say you have 2 choices, and one of them is take less damage from swords, and another one is take extra healing from AoEs. Okay, well that's 2 very specific situations, and you can only choose one or the other. So what if neither one ever applies to your specific situation you're going into? Then they're totally useless, both of them. Done.
Have you, one of the most recent RPGs that I played, where I say, building wise, this is something I would love to see in MMORPG, because it's not super complex where it's a nightmare for developers, but it's also not super simple so it's not that boring. Have you played Dragon Age Inquisition?
I played it from it. I did not really go too deep into it.
All right, but you know how first stats, you have a lot of stats that do a lot of different things in the game. And you know how every character has like a different individual skill trees with active and passive skills, and those active and passive skills also have like sub things that change certain aspects. For example, one of the I think warrior skill trees is for tanking, and it turns the individual shout into an AoE shout, and there's also a damage reduction option if you want that, right? and it's simple stuff, but it's a large variety of simple stuff, right? So it is complex, but it's still simple, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that kind of goes hand in hand with kind of what I was going to say is, honestly, I would like to see things that are very specific to the classes, but maybe generic. Like they apply to multiple situations, but they're very specific. Like if you had, for instance, a tank, again, as one example of, you could either take less damage or accept more healing, one or the other. But the take less damage is going to be based on the defense that you have. And either way, it's gonna also be based on the situation you go into and how you typically play. They could be two totally separate impacts for an entire raid.
Yeah.
I would No, go ahead. Sorry, finish.
Well, I was gonna say also for, like, say a summoner, you could have one that says if you give yourself like 1% more damage, and the other one is because pets are usually a little bit more downscaled from the actual player. And pets are supposed to be a vitally important choice for a summoner, and they need to focus on it. Maybe the other option is give your pets 2% damage. So you could have 1% extra damage from yourself, or give your pets 2% extra damage. That's your choice. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to play with pets, or do you want to focus more on yourself, with pets being a totally auxiliary random thing?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't know how right now. This is not meant to be an insult or meant in a negative way. Right now, Alpha 1 is really basic as it gets, right? I think that's a fair assumption. So I'm, when I talk to Steven, or when I hear Steven talk, and Pathfinder, and he's a big RPG, MMORPG, fanatic. It's hard for me to scale or to find out how in depth he wants to go. Right, so I could see both sides, right? Which why I'm Alpha 1 is all nice and neat, but Alpha 2, going into Alpha 2 and then forward till release, that's where we will see how in depth everything will be, and that's when it might turn off a lot of people, or might a lot of people will like what is coming. Something that I would like to see is you having to choose between certain passives that have reactive and passive sub skills. For example, meaning you can either choose to have 300 more HP or 150 more armor, and the armor passive then every time you block activates and heals you for a certain amount, right? While the passive health one has a sub passive that grants you 100 extra armor if you drop under 50% health. I know, like my dream MMORPG has such an in-depth character builder and skill tree that you will probably spend 2 weeks just building your character as soon as you hit max level. That's like my dream. I'm so happy when I can just sit on and building my character and coming up with theories and theory crafting.
Again, I'm gonna go back to the good old standby, Wildstar.
Dude,
I'm not sure if you had a chance to play that one, but man, there was such an in-depth skill system.
When that first came out,
different builds.
I was off tank in our guild. When me and our two other tanks, our main tank and our sub tank, we spend so much time theory crafting, and the guild had to feed us so much currency just because we had to try out different things. Because at that point there were no guides. There was no, hey, you have to build it this way, right? So, oh god, I missed that game.
Even after there were guides, the guides weren't perfect either. They're like, well, if this is your play style, this is the best thing to do. If it's not your play style, don't do this.
There were I have to say, most guides, in my opinion, they're really basic, right? In Guild Wars 2, most of the guides then come out. They're pretty easy to make because Guild Wars 2 is always built around a meta that is promoting the new stuff within the game. Right? But that only means that the new stuff is good to a certain degree. If you're a good player, you can still come in with a build from release and still do somehow decent.
Yeah.
God, please make Ashes complicated.
And did you have anything, David, before we catch up on chat?
I'm pretty sure you guys said everything possible, so.
We may have talked for a minute there.
Nick Crokies! Hello!
Karaoke's.
But yeah,
Your voice
Dante-
is
like Dante
garbled
said-
again. I don't know. I think there might be something wrong with your mic because it keeps doing it.
is that better?
No. It's like, I don't know how to explain it.
Like a gargling.
Yeah.
Grrr.
I'm sorry, it's a sound effect.
Are we gonna talk about that tank question?
Yes, we will, as soon as we're done talking about the
Okay, good.
thing that you guys
Okay.
were talking about. If it's okay with you, Liv, I'll just go ahead and take over while you figure things out. So Zillan says they could potentially add complexity passes by having skill augments that affect them as well as your class skills, or even augments that affect passives only. Dante says, if I had to choose though, I'd hope that they make vertical progression more impactful so that each step up of the progression feels meaningful rather than having more options for horizontal progression, which I could agree with.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
that's so much better. I don't know what you
So
just
much
did.
better.
All right,
Like,
all right. Good.
Like, you don't even sound echoey anymore.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah, it's I don't know what you did, but do that again.
A whole lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I had a direct actual response to that one with Dante. Like that's kind of what I was hoping or trying to get at when I was saying I hope they don't make those passives be generic, because they should be something meaningful for your class. It shouldn't just be I guess I'll just choose that one because that's the only one that really works for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the generic passives are gonna be kind of like a railroad towards every class is gonna have specific ones they choose, and that's it.
Yeah, that's fair. Hello, Aegon. Welcome in. Still catching up on chat. Bartik says, I think Alpha 1 is mostly a placeholder. I feel like they probably have a bunch of different builds for QA that has far more content somewhat fleshed out. Which I could agree with the first part. I have no idea with the second part, but I can only imagine because I'm sure they're implementing it somehow quickly.
Yeah.
I agree with Necroki. It's just to kind of go back to that. What do you think of tank as an archetype? Yeah, tank is a role to me, not a class name.
How do I best put this without sounding like a douchebag again?
Like, I don't.
Why
There you go.
isn't the tank called Guardian?
I don't know, but that would be a much better name for it, I think.
Right?
My question on it is, are there even any devices in the game that are called tanks? Like,
Right.
do they have anything to actually base the, like, lore-wise to base the name off of?
I don't think so. So the other day, because this is funny, my younger brother, right, is a World of Warcraft fanatic, right? But even he now finally he's on that step where he's like, yeah, World of Warcraft sucks, right? After I just need something to push him, right? So I'm always like, hey, Ashes, great, awesome, it's gonna be awesome. And I never really force feed him the information, like, hey, here's the bits and pieces. So a while back, I think like 2 or 3 months ago, I'm like, hey, here's the possible archetype and class list for Ashes, and he sees tanked, and I'm like, and he's like, dude, why is this called tank? It doesn't really make no sense. And he started then looking into Ashes, and he found out that everyday tanks are also using mana, and that just triggered him somehow. Do you guys think, because this is something funny, and I want to ask you this. So way back in the day, and I'm going to take World of Warcraft as a reference because it's the only game I can take a reference because World of Warcraft had a similar case. Way back in the day, shamans and hunters, or hunters in general, they also used mana, right? That was World of Warcraft Classic, Morton Core, Blackling Lair, all those stuff. But down the line, they gave the hunter its own separate energy thing,
stamina or something.
Yeah, stamina. Focus.
Focus.
Yeah.
So I know in Ashes, it is planned that everybody uses mana, but from a immersion point of view, do you guys think down the line they will maybe decide to do, warriors get rage and hunt rangers and then rogues they get focus or energy or whatever?
Yeah, and see me, I think that everyone should have their own individual thing, or everybody should have mana, and that's it. It's one or the other, because if you have a handful of classes that are using mana and then everyone else is all unique and different, then it's just going to feel weird to me.
But why? I mean, from a D&D or from an immersion fantasy RPG point of view, mages, clerics, that sort of stuff, they would use mana because they're doing the casting and all that stuff. And then you would have the fighter melee classes, you got the warrior type that are more yar. I don't know why I just made the pirate sound, but you get what I mean. And then you got the rogues and the more agile classes. I don't know. Probably not gonna happen. I just say it would be cool. And to answer the other question, yes, I think tank is a weird name. I would take the name Guardian. But it is what it is.
Yeah. As far as the tank having mana, everybody else possibly having mana, the only thing that I can think of, and this kind of lines up with the lore, is we came from Sanctus to Vera, and I believe Sanctus didn't have magic, yeah. But Vera does. Yeah. So it makes sense that going into Vera, you get mana, which is your magic capabilities, and if everybody has it from joining into Vera, then it's this new power source that we are given besides our health source.
I want to counter that. Okay. Because we talked about this after the podcast the other day. So Vera got screwed up, the fall, corruption, everybody went to Sanctus. At Sanctus there was no magic, so they had to find different ways of doing stuff. So warriors and the fighters, they were on Sanctus. They maybe created their own unique way of fighting, right? So the only ones on Sanctus that were handicapped were casters that used mana. Is it, you know what I mean? Wouldn't it make sense then for them to I don't know, sorry. I think too much about this stuff. I'm sorry.
No, you reminded me of myself really hard right there, where I get I'm so dedicated to what I'm saying, and then I just second guess myself at the last minute. I do that. No,
it's not second guessing. I know if I keep going, and if I keep talking about this is not gonna end. Just from a logical standpoint, I don't see why fighters and tanks have maybe, I don't know. Steven writes the game. Steven makes the rules. End of discussion. How is everybody doing today?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of those things it's a resource that they didn't have on Sanctus at all. So then they come back to Vera and they go, oh my gosh, we have this thing. How can everybody use this to make our lives easier and better or stronger or whatever? And so they just figured out ways for everybody to use it for their own class.
Yeah, and kind of like what Anik here says is mana or essence can be the basic resource of all Vera races to do things. So I was just justifying it from that perspective. I mean, you could also obviously be able to say that by returning to Vera, the planet gives you magic, and for each class that you choose, that magic manifests itself in a different way via mana or rage or like whatever that what is a resource pool would be for.
You see that now, like now my gears are starting to turn. So I'm sorry, but because if we go down this road, we could argue that all the classes are mages, and they all just are specialized in certain fields.
So a mage primary with a mage secondary is actually a mage, not just a mage.
Yes, and a tank would be mage tank because they're all having the different types of magic, which they do because they use mana. Protection magic, healing. So actually, yeah, that actually makes sense. I'm sorry, like that logic is actually spot on.
The mega mage. And a mage tank would actually be a tank sandwich using mage bread.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's get off of skills and
silly topics.
Stuff.
Hey, you invited me, so.
They were talking about the problems that they've been having with Alpha 1 being that the AI controller would stick around after the NPC died. And so as you can imagine, over time, with all these things cluttering up the memory, it became glitchy, and that's where a lot of the rubber banding was coming from. Similar to when you do coding and you don't allocate space for things and you don't properly get rid of that unnecessary data, you end up with kind of like a memory leak or a data leak because there's so much stuff being stored for no reason at that point. It's not useful. So that would make sense. It caused like the server to go a little crazy. But let's talk about the Shipwreck Harbor Pirate Cove video thing. I'm gonna try to find that somewhere because
it was very bootyful.
Oh gosh, of course they would not already have put it up on YouTube. That's the only thing that sucks when you're us, is as much as I love being right after their live stream, it's not usually shortly after their live stream that it's on YouTube. It's like after our podcast is when it finally gets on YouTube.
yeah, so we can't just go and grab it real quick to use,
or like, you know, you have to sit through
YouTube channel, right?
The ads, huh?
The Twitch.
What about the Twitch?
Yeah, this is the Twitch VOD.
Yeah, but I'm just saying with the Twitch VOD, it gives you like the ads. You have to go through the ads first to show the video.
Twitch and YouTube should just, make something like, hey, we let our content creators, upload instantly to YouTube, make our lives easier.
So let's see here. I guess.
Thank you, Dow. I appreciate that. Aw, that's sweet. I'm like blushing right now. That was like a really big compliment. I appreciate that.
I have to say something. I want to say something in regards to that. My new job is paying me to get a degree in system administration.
Nice.
Which also includes several months now of software, just programming in general.
Nice.
A lot of respect, because I could not do that. We are just doing basic C++ right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So this is how rocket science looks. Okay, cool. Oh no, this is how Martians talk. Oh, okay, even better. I'm like, yeah.
Now, see, what you're studying right now is like the modern version of necromancy, like just keeping that language alive by requiring new people going through school to learn it.
Yeah,
that's one of my.
I agree, because Princess Kenny says C++ is its own kind of hell, and I was like, yes, 1000% agreed.
One of our professors, he even told us, hey, listen, just be in class. You don't have to pay attention, because this is like learning a language. I can talk to you in this language, but if you don't understand it, is that going to help you?
Yeah.
So half the class is like doing their own thing while we're doing the lecture, which is funny. coding.
Right.
I mean,
Let's
I
see.
don't hate coding. I like the stuff that we do right now is really basic and it's fun, but I could not see it. I could not see myself doing it as a living.
You know, I will honestly 1000% say, and I've been told this when I first started school, and I'm so sorry. I know you guys are here for Ashes. Just one real quick, and then getting back on topic. But you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, and it definitely takes a certain person to be able to do coding. That's the brunt of it, honestly, is like you either hate it, but you do it because it's great money. You love it and you love doing it and it's still great money, or you just absolutely hate the heck out of it and you just want to get away from anything to do with coding, which
Exactly.
is very, very fair. But I have the video pulled up. Vertek, if you want to go ahead and chat about whatever it is you were going to chat about, I'm going to pop this over here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bartik, I'm kind of right there with you. Like, there has to be some reason why people who grew up in Sanctus or ordinary people suddenly become extremely powerful really quickly. I always thought that, I mean, I know, like you were saying, I agree that the Alpha 1 is a lot of placeholder stuff, but I thought it would be neat if they had an actual like intro video, like, hey, so welcome to Vera. Here's what you got to know. Here's your this, here's your that. And if they run you through like how a class is supposed to perform or whatnot, like how neat would it be, since there are 8 different classes, if during the intro you had to go through a class on how to play your character and they gave you like a max level character to run through like example scenarios under the tutelage of somebody who knew what they were doing and powerful and all that. And then you got to really see what the character could do. And then you go through the portal to the other side, you land in Vera, and you're back down to a little level 1. Like, for one, it would explain why somebody being introduced to a world of magic for the first time knows how to do magic. But also it would give you an introduction to the class, so you don't have to wonder, oh, what's this class feel like at max level? Like, how would this play?
We always, like, one of our, after we're done with the podcast, after we're done with the discussion round, we always like talk for like another hour on the official Discord. And one of our main talking points over the last couple months has always been, so we know how Vera was before the fall.
Mm-hmm.
How did civilization, how did all the races advance or develop themselves on Sanctus? Because they did not have magic anymore. So did they just live in the Dark Ages for centuries, or did they actually develop new technologies? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Because this is like my biggest, this is like the biggest mystery I currently have with the Ashes is what happened on Sanctus, because steampunk would make sense at this point. Okay. And how the hell, if we do not have magic on Sanctus, how the hell did the portals reopen, right? And then, of course, must have been something an elf did. It's magic related, and most of the time it's an elf messing up. So those are the questions that I have. It's been 5,000 years since they left Vera, right? I think like 5,000. It's been.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, right. So if you have so many,
it's just a myth at this point.
If you have so many civilizations go to a place where their main power source is not there, they must have developed technology. They cannot live for 5,000 years in complete darkness and like cavemen. I don't believe that.
I mean, if that's what you knew as your power source and your driving force behind everything that you did, if that's just gone, that would take them back to the caveman days, because all they would have is, hey, I got a cart. We don't have to invent the wheel because we have that. Mm-hmm. And we know how to make fire, so that's cool. But everything else we pretty much have to learn from the ground up.
I mean, it's 2021. Look how far we gotten in 2,000 years.
Right? It's crazy.
So if they've been on Sanctus for 5,000 years, I need a backstory. Otherwise, I'm not buying this stuff.
Here's your backstory. Somebody got curious about the old legend and myths and was like, I'm gonna set out and make this true. And then they went and did some weird shit, and then somehow the portal opened up. Boom. They contacted one of the gods. Don't know how they did
Maybe
it.
time works differently.
It's lazy writing. I need an in-depth backstory with at least 400 pages.
Oh,
I'm
there you go.
sorry.
Bartik has my idea. Maybe time works differently between the two.
Oh yeah, there you go. You see, I can get behind this. The slow flow
Maybe
of
it's
time.
maybe it's only been 1,000 years on Sanctus, but Vera's been 5,000.
I mean, I can also believe that, you know, Sanctus is full of demons and they just got. I'm not a coder. I'm not a coder. I'm a system administrator. So, and I'm still a mark. So I'm gonna next chance I get, I'm gonna drill Steven so hard. Not in that sense, but when it comes to questions, stop internet, stop. If I see this on Reddit,
That until you said that.
no,
Well, you gotta break it.
because
Oh my.
like I know everybody's always talking about, you know, combat and the combat this, the combat that. I'm like, I need a backstory. Otherwise, I need to feel emotions. I need to understand where we're coming from.
Oh gosh.
Steven should hire me as a writer. I would, yeah, as a storyteller, I would figure this
Do
out.
it.
I would just
Soul magics.
blame everything on elves.
Ooh. Sorry, one thing. Can I just say I really loved Maggie's eyes in her character creation on this.
Oh yeah, like the pure
glowy
white eyes.
Oh, that was really cool. I guess he called it energy eyes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that. From what cosmetic is that?
I'm not sure. I think that was one of the witchy ones that has like the.
Oh, that's the thing. Hold on.
Withering something.
Yeah, the one that looks like.
I'm a horrible podcast host.
Don't worry about it. You guys doing better than we do. We
Goth cosmetics. That's all I know.
We wing our stuff. No,
I'm just
it's
like
the one where,
it's this cosmetic with that look, and that's all I know. I don't know the name of any of the
it's
cosmetics.
the one where everybody thought it's a necromancer. Woe within the woodlands.
Let's start calling it the Gothmetics. It's the Gothmetic set.
Guys of the withered woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Oh, that's what that is. That looks pretty dope. Well, what shoulders does she have? Oh! I know what that is. I'm just seeing this for the first time. I'm sorry.
Discovering it all piece by
This is
piece.
a live reaction.
No, it's all good. I like it.
Yeah, he the thing you don't hear on the video that she's playing here is that he was talking about cheating because he put together like 3 different cosmetic sets to that one.
So
And
now
that's
my
not
question.
something that we can do as players.
Exactly.
Nope.
But it is possible now.
they
It is.
did.
You see,
Yeah.
now they made a mistake. They showed something, and now people will
want
want
it.
to do this.
Yeah. See,
Exactly.
Is that a new UI? Because I haven't been testing it. I was going to test tonight, and then they pushed it to tomorrow. So, is that a new UI that they have there with the passives and the? Because I don't remember it looking
Passives-
like that before.
It's been a little bit since you've seen it. Yeah, it
Okay.
used to. I think the last time you tested it may have only had like the 1 tree and that was it. But then they added it with all 3 trees, but the 2 on the sides were all inactive.
Yeah.
And
But
it was
I'm
just grayed
saying
out boxes.
The layout of the boxes, is that new?
Yeah, the layout with 3 trees is newer.
Let me ask you
The
something.
passives are just turned on today.
I'm talking about the boxes
Let me-
within the tree.
No.
Oh, okay. Because I don't remember it being like that. What were you gonna say, BCG?
Let me ask you something. So, one thing on my podcast, and one of the recurring things that we talk about is the way cosmetics make your character look and what they change, like skin and all that stuff. Do you prefer them to be full body skins, like you have a cosmetic skin and it changes your whole appearance, Or would you prefer how it is in that video right now, where you can mix and match?
I like mix and match.
Yeah, I would personally always prefer the mix and match, because every time there's a cosmetic capability where you can like mix and match everything and create your own look, I've never gone and picked the entire everything from one set. Never done that. I've always grabbed something that looks better.
I think really highly of Steven. I don't agree with like a lot of the stuff he likes or does, but I think Steven is a really, really smart person. What if he showed this just to feel how people would react to this? Ha 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 ha! I know you. Because mix matching, I feel like, especially with the cosmetics, yes.
Vertec and I were talking about a duck mount. There should definitely be a duck mount.
Don't we already have a duck mount?
He was talking about like a duck mount mixed with, what was it, a shark or something?
I forget. I know somebody made, that was something we talked about a couple weeks ago, where somebody brought like a whole duck cosmetic set and made a duck cosmetic everything, but there was one of them as a duck mount. I said, yes, that should definitely be a thing. I want a duck so I can quack around and float around on the water.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a swan. That's a swan. I thought we already had one. No, but that was a swan.
There was a swan. There was that thing with the, well, that's up on there, right? Raptor bird thing. I don't know what you call that.
The axe bird.
Yeah, the axe bird. Sorry, there's commercial, so I didn't want it to show up because it's like, yeah.
Yeah, skins versus transmog. Yep.
Yeah, I am more for transmog. If I can mix match and make my own unique look with the items that I bought, then hell yeah, I will even buy more stuff.
Prime has like 3, this is the 3rd commercial in a row now. Like, they did a Clorox one, then they're doing one about their Prime Day, and now they're doing Xfinity. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why did they add ads? I just want to know that. Why?
Because the big corporations are greedy and they want to make more money.
But
because they're poor.
So for those of you that were part of the live stream, I missed a lot of it because of the skipping, and some people just got frustrated and left because every time they try to refresh because of the skipping, it would give them an ad. And so
Twitch is horrible when it comes to the ads.
People couldn't watch because of the skipping, and yeah, it was just bad.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's going to come through on the VOD as well, because watching it live, there was a lot of like it would reverse back by about a half a second or a second and play the same thing over and over.
I was working while I was listening to that. I was like, did I hear that right? What just happened?
Yeah, Twitch is just getting funny.
Okay, but Bartek, what if you take a moon chicken and a snorse?
And a what?
A snorse.
What's a snorse?
That like sea snail horse thing that they had. With the So like, what would you get? Just curious.
Doors? No, a duck.
Going to have a lot going on. Yeah,
pretty much. A duck mixed with a sloth.
You mean a platypus?
Yes, exactly.
We already have one of those.
Same thing. I was like, wait a minute, a duck-billed platypus.
There you go, no cookies. Uh-oh.
What's happening?
What was the...
That was deleted by Twitch due to bad language about Twitch. Okay, so I'll let you guys continue, but you were talking about some really beautiful fan art that you saw.
Yes, I was. There's some really cool stuff.
I gotta pull it up on the photo share. Did you put it in the...
I did not.
I will get that going then.
Yeah, you'll just have to pull up the image links.
That's fine.
I love seeing fan art.
Oh yeah, me too. That's my favorite. Oh, I'm so excited to see what their like wall of fan art is gonna be.
It's gonna be fantastic.
I need to. I have to at some point really sit down for like 2 or 3 weeks and draw something to make it in Fan Friday.
Do it.
Yeah. I am not a artist, so I am not ever going to be on
It
Fan
takes me just so
Friday.
long. Remember like the community piece I did and me fighting with the devs?
Mhm.
Those two almost took me like a year.
Oh, geez.
I'm a really slow worker. I'm the snail of content creators.
Well, see, you had a couple of them come out in like rapid fire, so I thought you were doing those in like real time. Like, hey, today I made this.
No,
And
I
then
just,
the day before I made that.
Oh, sorry. He made a video? Okay, that's cool. Sorry. Okay, hold on.
Wait.
He did.
First
What are you
off,
guys talking about?
you'll
I
see in
want to
just a
be
second.
included.
I
It's the
think
Fan
she's
Friday.
getting all of the video and images all ready to show, and then rapid fire through them
Yeah,
instead of
pretty
go one by
much.
one.
Let's go.
There we go. Them in the community can. Yeah, I forgot who was it. We just talked about this, and somebody was saying that they could make us a background audio, and somebody was gonna direct us to their emote person.
D2 was talking about the emote person, I believe.
Yeah. So any references you
And-
guys have, we would like.
And it was Jalon talking about getting background music stuff.
Oh, okay.
Here's how you make emotes. You make funny faces. You take a photo of that funny face. You crop yourself out. Done. Emote done.
There's
There
your
you go.
emote.
That's, I mean,
what I-
kind of what I did.
It's,
Alright,
it's
so-
what I did. I just posted it in chat.
Popping
paw.
over. This is by
Ouch.
Barry for the Fan Friday. I
Yeah,
really
what was
love
it,
this Tolnar with the cookies.
Something Blackberry T2?
Is this a
Blackberry
dragon?
T2.
Little Tolnar with a...
Tolnar, yeah, yes.
Looks like the Fee and Nick's hatchlings.
I don't
Yeah.
accept any Tulnar art.
Well, it's a good thing it's not your show.
I know. I just want to state it for a fact. But it's cute. It's cutely drawn. I like it.
Yeah, I agree though. I love a lot of the AOC community stuff. Like I will admit I'm a critter also. I do enjoy watching Critical Role. And so I feel like yeah, I feel like the art between the two is just so nice.
I just started watching Critical Role, and I'm still in the first campaign, like 10 episodes
You
in.
should just, how about this? You should just
Some good stuff.
just watch like from last night and the next 8 weeks, because they're doing a mini campaign that's not related to the other two campaigns that they have. And they have a new
no.
DM that's running it for the moment.
No, I want to watch from the start
There we go.
because, you know, I'm really emotionally invested into Grog. I feel like we're on the same wavelength.
But this new 8-week mini campaign doesn't have the same characters in it. It's a whole different group of people, character-wise.
Grog.
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 Nah, I watched a
And then
couple
this
clips.
Beautiful thing by Scorpion, the trickster.
Oh, I saw that. That is, you see,
So pretty.
I wish I could draw like that. That is badass.
Yeah.
I like the little lens flare and everything in there too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like respect. That
would
is
love to
really.
just have a podcast where we could talk about everything nerdy. That'd be cool. Just a show where we just sit and chat about whatever randomness we want to talk about.
We basically
I'm
do
down.
that here.
Well,
I'm
no,
down.
it's supposed to be Ash's related, not whatever.
I can rarely really geek out, and then
That'd be fun.
because I still want to know what happened on Sanctus.
New podcast.
Yeah. Call it Ash's Nerds or something. Geeking out Ash's style.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, and then so those were the only two images, right? And then there was this video.
Wait, there's a video.
Yeah,
Okay.
Voxov. He used to do those really freaking awesome comics back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And he's vanished from them, but he's now making little sculptures. And this one he did the fox of the pyre.
Yes. Let me get that going real quick. Fix this.
And yeah, it was like I think a 10-minute video that did the full like time, a 20-minute video that did a full time lapse of the creation of the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna have this kind of go up as we chat.
I think I really have to rewatch the podcast, the live stream.
There we go.
Yeah, this one wasn't on the live stream. This was a post you made in Reddit.
Yeah, sometimes we just grab things from random places as our Fan Fridays.
Yeah, like this one was just bananas watching all this. Because every step of the way, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that.
I
all
can't.
these individual steps along the way, I'm like, I could totally do that. But looking at the beginning and the ending of it,
Nerds
I could not make
Love it.
that. No.
Fan nerdom. I like it.
I could not start from there and end at what he created in the end.
Oh yeah. It's just
Every step in the middle, like I can do that step. I can do that step. I can do that step.
You see, like anybody,
I
like
can make
honestly,
a stick figure.
honestly, anybody that does something like this, they should get like 3 months worth of playing time at least.
Yeah, this is just intense.
Yeah. This just brings me back to like high school and a little bit into college with the art classes.
Sculpture.
I was never as artistic as some of the other people though. Like I can do art. I'm not amazing at it. I actually went to college initially for video game design art. And then I got interested in what the engineering students were doing and I was like, fuck that art shit. I'm gonna go do engineering. So I left art school to do software engineering.
You see, like I'm like similar. I went to school for graphic design and art history. And I passed all my classes, not like with the best grades, but I passed. And I always had to. I was always the last one done because I take my sweet time, right? Because I'm not. When it comes to creative stuff, I suck when I have to work fast. So that's why I decided to actually go back to school or continue my education in the fields of marketing and politics. But you know, if somebody can do stuff like this, that makes me so jealous.
Yeah,
I wish I could do that.
I mean, that being said, Necrokius makes a great point. My friend did something like this and said, "You didn't see the 4 I binned," you know. So,
yeah, that's a fair point.
You don't see the stuff I throw away. And that being said, like, think about this entire video game, right? So we have art that's right in front of you. That's really cool. But this entire video game is files and code. Out of coding and files, you make the game that you get to play. Like, that's kind of what got me into software engineering in the first place. I thought that was really cool. But I heard a lot of terrifying things at that point in time about working in the gaming industry, so I decided maybe it wasn't quite for me. And I ultimately was like, I'm into gaming stuff, so if I ended up with a gaming company, that'd be cool, but I'm more into just coding in general. So yeah,
I used to, in my old job and the jobs I had prior to this, I always had either a full-time or a semi-full-time role in project management, like hybrid, you know, like not like full-time hired as a project manager, but I did lead projects or whatever. And I can tell you this, during sprints or crunch times, as a coder, as a programmer, you will hate humanity and everything that goes on this planet.
Well, we go through a few sprints, but yeah, I feel like it also depends on the company that you work for and what the sprint is exactly.
True.
But this is just, I absolutely have always loved art. When Vertec and I go to conventions, the first thing, well, actually more like the last thing I do is go to the art hall, because I know that's where I'm going to be spending all of my money, is just straight into the art hall.
That's what I miss about living in the United States, like all the conventions. I'm currently living in the south of Germany, and the only convention worthwhile is Gamescom. And even that is not as great as some of the like smaller, like I want to go to Comic-Con so freaking bad, but none of my friends across the globe from New Zealand to the United States, nobody wants to come with me. One of these days, I'm just going to pack my stuff and be like, you know what? I'm going to Comic-Con by myself.
I would go to New York Comic-Con, just not San Diego.
PAX West is happening? Sorry, I didn't know that was happening. I got excited.
Apparently, yeah.
What's wrong with Comic-Con in San Diego?
Oh, I don't want to go to that.
Take the most absolutely crammed place that you possibly can remember ever going to.
Okay.
Make that multiple days of nerds that may or may not shower, and also that's if you're lucky and you happen to be able to buy a ticket within 5 minutes of them going live.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
It's super packed. It's super dense.
But isn't New York Comic-Con the same way?
Nowhere near as bad.
Okay.
It'll take a lot longer for the tickets to sell out.
No.
But
no, even like the smaller, like I don't know, just like Germany wise, when it comes to nerd stuff, there is not a lot of conventions. The only thing worth noticing that Germany has is like a LARPing event, which is called like Dragon Festival translated, which is supposed to be a lot of fun. But again, I'm a big nerd, but I don't have a lot of nerdy friends. Actually, I have none. No, I don't have any.
well, we should make it out to some of them around here, because I know we have one that we have been going to, or we're planning on going to basically every year, and that's MagFest. It's a music and gaming festival. It's a 24-hour convention. Like there's always something going on all hours of the day, even if it's they have an arcade with like 300 arcade machines, all free play for the entire weekend. And you can go down at like 3:00 in the morning after you just got out of the bar, and there are people there playing and having their own little mini tournaments on arcade machines from like 1985.
One thing I would love to do one of these days. So I keep watching this guy making the sculpture. Dude, this guy's amazing. No, one of the days, if I ever win the lottery, I hope I will win the lottery. I will take 1 year and go to every convention on the planet that is somehow like nerd related.
Same, make it up for one of the PAXs. We bump into a bunch of the Ashes people.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the thing, sorry, just talking about conventions and stuff, they're talking about the new studio update, and that for those of us that have PI, we get a studio tour. So that
aren't you the fancy bunch? Aren't you fancy? Getting a private studio tour. Aren't you the fancy ones?
Ooh.
We are.
I'm only fancy because
we've been waiting on doing that. It's funny. We were gonna try and make it down there and say hi to them last year, but then the COVID stuff decided to happen. And gonna wreck that whole plan.
Yep. We're going to go to MagFest, and we're going to come back. We're going to try to go down and see them and go see if some family that's down there. And just, we came back and everything broke loose pretty much.
Did he say how long it took him to make that sculpture?
25 hours.
Really? That's it?
Yep. But it would probably take me a decade. Days of waiting for the parts to dry between the phases.
Okay.
So
this guy's amazing.
I like the weird little snow bunny things that are in the background on the plate.
Oh, I didn't even notice those.
They're so cute. But
let me ask you a question.
Let me give you an answer.
From podcaster to podcaster. How long you guys been doing this now?
Well, this version of the show was established in 2019, and then I think there was about a year or so before that one, which was the Party of Five.
Yeah, mid to late 2018, I guess.
So, I'd say 3 years.
3 years, okay. Do you think you will still be doing this podcast or a version of it 6 years from now?
As long as people don't get sick of us and stop watching, then yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because the other day we were talking about it, and for me, like the reason I started my podcast way back in the day was because the community really wanted to talk about MMORPGs and Ashes. So I started the first version of my current podcast, and then I adjusted or just changed the name, but the format is still the same. And it got to a point now where I'm not even doing it, or we're not even doing it, to get max amount of viewers. Mm-hmm. It's more of a habit now. And when my brother, one of my other brothers, he asked me, so how long are you gonna do this? I'm like, hey, probably till either my PC or I break.
Yeah.
I think probably the same here. Yeah. Basically, as long as they don't get sick of us.
Yeah. I mean, don't worry. Here's what we're gonna do. If nobody watches you, nobody watches me, I'm gonna watch you. You guys gonna watch me, and then there you go.
There you go.
I mean, I like this. I like this. Keep it going one way or another.
I think as long as Ashes is around and as long as people aren't sick of us, we'll definitely be doing this. Like, will I be doing other things? Me. Absolutely. Like, I'm still actively looking. Like, I like the idea of being on a D&D stream. I just don't really enjoy the idea of being the one that streams the D&D all the time, because like then I have to get my computer all set up. But if all I have to do is show up and be there, that's a lot easier on me.
Yo, Vertek, didn't you mention, did one of you two mention something to me regarding D&D?
We play D&D on Mondays.
Yeah, I was saying that I totally have shot you the invite to be on there with us, but there's a cap of how many people the guy wanted to be DM for, because I guess it's his first shot through. So he goes, party of 4, that's it.
Okay, gotcha. Now, because if you guys ever need somebody, let me know. I will try to make time, because I now found like a Discord where they do like small groups here and there with random people, but I still have not found like a set group of people.
Yeah, and I would like to be part of a side as well.
I forgot how much I enjoy Dungeons and Dragons. I haven't played in like 20 years.
Well, we were thinking of doing some Ashes of Creation related D&D stuff, but I have to get some D&D under my belt, and I have to wait for some of the Kickstarter stuff that we got to come in. Woman, look at the webcam. Look at how my eyes are. Look how intense I'm looking at. Look at how. Yes. Good. Intense look. If you forget about me, we're gonna have a problem. Intense look.
Okay, so Z wants to get in on that too.
Yes. Okay.
So there we go.
We will get you guys in. I think that would be so much fun. Because Vertek and I have ideas on how to make it like Ashes of Creation kind of related. We
have Bartek already doing some stuff like that, so we got to get him involved.
I need a guide for
we can do it in Tailspire.
That's the other thing I was thinking about doing, is making YouTube videos on like D&D or like role playing and stuff like that. But I feel like there's so much out there that like, I'd just be another like not video that's as interesting as people that actually know what the heck they're talking about.
I still play the same character I did 20 years ago. I just changed the levels.
Nice.
I know it's not D&D correct, but I don't care. I love my character.
Let's see, that's the thing, is I have recycled a couple characters through multiple campaigns, but the reason why is that the groups never finished the campaigns.
Exactly.
So my character never really experienced growth. Therefore, no, I'll just can it. It was only level 3. I'll start back at level 1 and I'll use the same character because I really like the character. I didn't have a chance to really play it.
I feel like my own fault is like I knew about Critical Role for like years, but I never the reason I don't watch a lot of streams or people doing like game reviews is I rather experience it myself. Right. So I just recently understand what the appeal of Critical Role is. And I have to say, if you have a group of people that are like not even half as funny as them, or they're having that much fun, I think that's like worth a lot.
They're taking it so seriously, but not seriously at all.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time is what it is.
Exactly.
Like they're there for a purpose. They play and they have fun with it and they get into it, and that makes all the difference. Because
you know what? Let me start a little like if I can maybe get some of the other Ashes Creation content creators together, I might be able to even find us a GM.
That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really awesome. Like the content creators of Ashes of Creation come together for a D&D session.
I mean,
I'm
just saying
only?
also.
No. I mean,
also,
not the one I was thinking of.
We have a server for Foundry.
Mm-hmm.
Totally offer that up for use too, and like a shitload of modules and basically all the D&D Beyond content already integrated into it.
But would we make it? Would we make it? Because I think the thing that is the biggest hurdle would be to make it completely like only Ashes of Creation. Just simply because we don't have a lot of lore.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying that the stuff that we were getting, I was thinking of making it like Ashes of Creation based.
We have all the lore we need for right now.
Yeah.
Because we could play it on like going back in time, back to when like before they left or whatever, and just make up our own stuff.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like actual stories instead of like just writing a story. It's like living out the story.
Just look up some of the stuff on
I could really then get into Tailspire.
There you go. But yeah, just pick up some of the stuff from the wiki that talks about some of the old gods and some of the old habits and stuff like that, and just make up some stories that would fit but wouldn't be impactful for the world going all the way to current Vera.
I mean, the thing that we would need is like a good DM.
Yeah. I am super inspired by them because I'm like, I would like to learn how to get to that point where there's like even Abria, she's like talking and she's like, you hear a wind coming in from your east, and on it you smell something that's very earthy and green and yet not natural. Like, she's super descriptive, and I'm just like, that is so awesome. I love it.
But yeah, she that girl, I don't know. She just come up with stories like off the top of her head, just complete descriptions on what's going on, like she wrote it in advance or something.
Yeah, and she completely based off of what the person rolled. Like, I rolled an 8. Okay, cool. You fall off the roof or whatever. Like, as a better explanation than that, but
yeah, I noticed that finding a good DM is like the hardest thing. Like the people that I currently run with, the guy that runs the games, he's like, you walk into a town, there are 2 guards, what do you do? Like, really, like I use my fire spell, and like I really get into it. I'm even like,
see, for me, I have to have a group that I'm comfortable with enough to do that, because like I totally will, but I need to like know everybody first, and this is like for this D&D campaign. Like,
okay, wait, let me add this to my to-do list. This is now on my to-do list for this year.
What is?
That's what alcohol is for. It's his birthday.
Send us alcohol. Your brother has a whiskey distillery, right? Vertec loves whiskey.
I only consume magic herbs.
Look at the detailing with a toothpick, no less. That's so pretty. Wow. Voxov, if you're seeing this, I want to buy that from you, please. I would like to put it up right here. Right here. I'll have it right here, please. I will buy it from you.
Z's getting impassioned over here.
I know, I see that. This guy's stealing my spotlight.
Now you gotta one up him. Come on.
Oh man. Oh man. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, I think just
like honestly, like look at this. This is freaking amazing.
Vox
Like the closest thing
from you.
The closest
I
thing
was just gonna say exactly
the closest thing that I probably have to this is like 2 years ago I wrote like 140-page script for a mini-series that takes place within Vera, like right before the fall. It's like the closest thing I have to this.
I just gotta read more fantasy books so I can get back in that mindset, because I stopped really reading fantasy books because of school. I was like, I don't have time to read fun stuff anymore. I gotta do boring stuff like schoolwork.
Being back in school feels really funny.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man, just the detail. What he's adding more. I did not expect that. That is so cool. I give up. This is why I never became an artist. I would literally starve because I'm not worthy of being a starving artist. That is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, he should get a year worth of playing time for that.
Right.
And yeah, Bartik, agreed. Sanderson, good stuff.
Wow, so pretty. All right, and then we're gonna like let this finish out. Like, how much more is there? Okay, yeah, this, and then
It's, I think, just this rotating piece and it's done.
we'll just come back over here.
So,
Oh my gosh.
wow. Bananas.
So pretty.
I wish I could, but I can't. But speaking of characters and creatures that had limited lifespans and that one's gone, there's an example on the Q&A from the live stream today of something that you don't miss until it's gone, but if you never knew it was going to be there in the first place, then why do you miss it? But someone asked, will players receive some kind of memento to receive or to remember any of the pets or mounts with limited lifespans? And the answer was no. And it made me instantly regret the fact that I didn't think about that before.
Also,
Because I was like, what? You can't? Oh man, that'd be so neat. And had it never been mentioned in a question like, will people get this? I never would have thought about it. And then I never would have been sad that we don't get one.
It's like the airplane Wi-Fi. When it goes down, you're upset that it's down, but if you didn't know that there was airplane Wi-Fi, you wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So, what do you think? Should we head into wrap up here? We've been live for almost 2 hours now, and it's super late for BCG.
it's almost 3 a.m. I do not feel the flow of time anymore. I
BCG
ascended
is turning into Faisal.
time. What? Oh, Faisal is, I don't know. Faisal is I think he lives in a different realm where time flows differently.
Yeah, I think it's getting into Big Chillin Guy's sleepy time. So
Alrighty.
A little bit.
Let me quickly get back to Twitch real quick because just kidding, we're the only ones streaming now. Our friend from last week, Beck Altar, was streaming earlier. I was getting ready to go raid him, but
you guys have the best time slot.
For now. Best and worst. We have the best because there's not really anybody else on, but we have the worst because of, well, you know. Thank you, Theater. Sorry, Theater sent me a link for D&D Beyond Dice. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was gonna say she said something about just getting a new set of digital dice, so that must be them.
Thank you, Theater, for sending that to me. Appreciate it. As a wrap up, one Q&A question that stood out to you the most, or one thing from the stream that stood out to you the most.
Since I have not watched the live stream yet,
It's in the thing. You could just read through it.
I know, but I will say the thing that stood out the most to me was that Bacon was on the stream.
Yes. Yes, Bacon. And the cat, which they said was Fupo.
I mean, just run through the Q&A real quick. Most of the time, honestly, I don't listen to the Q&A.
Yeah, there was the Memento one stood out to me, as well as there was a question about the corruption in the land. And it was
if corruption in areas that fought back by the players, how far can the corruption go? There are certain events where progression events that will occur. If players ignore such, then spawning zombies, horde of dragon awakening communities that do not respond to those in an effective way will see services get disabled. Okay.
So basically, the corruption just is building in response to players in the world.
Yeah,
you don't really fight that back. It just the corruption grows until something happens. And
exactly, but it has from the sound of this, it's not an ever expanding thing. It's more like if in a zone of interest or around a node, the corruption or a zone does not get pushed back, something will happen, and then that's the worst thing that will happen. Like, I don't know, what does it say? A dragon awakening.
Well, they have said before that the areas of corruption do grow with the nodes. So if it's growing with the node and there's no way to fight it back, it's just that there's something that's going to happen there eventually. Keep an eye out for it.
But you know what I mean is, if the corruption does not get fought back in the bottom right corner of the map, that corruption will not expand all the way to the top left. It will stay in a certain area. The worst thing that can happen will happen, and then it might repeat and disable certain, like I said, certain services, but it will never get worse than that.
Yeah.
And then maybe fade away after said event.
Exactly.
Some of you guys will be happy to hear that perhaps someday there will be cross-server PvP tournaments.
I will crush everybody.
That came about when somebody asked if they could participate using monster coin systems on other servers. And they said no, only within your own server, but perhaps someday there'll be cross-server PvP tournaments.
I mean, yes, they should have those.
Yeah, you're saying that it's not in plans just yet, but maybe someday there'll be a whole lot of PvP tournaments on a server, and then the winners will all be invited to do like cross-realm PvP or something, which would be kind of cool.
Because, I have this thing about open world PvP. Open world PvP is fun. And a lot of people always drag, I'm a boss at PvP because I do open world PvP. Open world PvP can be really one-sided depending on the situation. I'm a big fan of structured PvP, like in Guild Wars 2 or just any sort of arena PvP. If you're a god in that, then you have my respect. But if you just gang people in open world PvP, then yeah, congrats. Shooting
you're good at jumping out of trees. Good job.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, can you imagine the salt that would happen if, say, the different servers have access to different gear because different things have been unlocked?
Yeah, exactly.
And then when one server ends up not winning, they're like, it's not even fair because they had the whatever set from the whatever dungeon thing.
If they do
so much better.
If they do cross-server PvP tournaments, they need to do it like Guild Wars 2 does.
Yeah.
Which is how?
Everybody loads into one area and everybody has access to the same gear. Everybody is gear-wise, skill point-wise, everybody is on one level.
I think there should be two different brackets. One that has bring your own gear, your own everything, your own augments and everything, and the other one where it's even playing whatever you can pick up.
Yeah, but
Because then it really is going to be like which realm is the strongest, not just better strategist or whatever.
No,
but which realm is the strongest?
Congrats, you have corruption.
If we're talking if we're talking about which realm is the strongest, then they should have like large scale PvP events. But if we're talking about tournaments, so 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, more of a structured tournament system where the individual shines, then it should be, in my opinion, it should be more like Guild Wars 2. But if it's like which realm is the strongest, then they also could do it like Guild Wars 2 with world versus world, where you bring your own gear.
Well, see, the thing to keep in mind is that they've already said that there's not going to be like 1v1 or 3v3s. Those aren't going to exist in Ashes. Yeah, because they don't want it to be like that. That goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where they're not balancing one class against all the other classes. They're balancing it group versus group. So they're going to have like, not going to have like 1v1s and probably not even 3v3s.
No. That is,
right?
wait. No. Arenas will have 1-man, 3-man, 5-man, and possible 20-man group sizes.
I thought he actually made a statement like it wasn't going to be ones because they're not trying to balance the game like that.
I don't know. I just remembered because I was working on a video that I never released.
I have no input because I don't do arenas, so I haven't been paying attention to those. But 1v1 is champion fights, I think, is what Nick Kirk
Yeah,
says.
just the champion stuff for like the PvP nodes. Yeah.
Who knows?
But,
we will see on release.
Yeah. Shall we go ahead and wrap this up then?
Sure. I've been talking way too much anyways.
As our little outro thing, I wanted to say thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, BCG, for joining us in the middle of your like literally in the middle of the night.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. And next week we will probably have Telcar, and I say probably because your girl Chibi didn't follow up, and he said he was going to let me know, and I think we both forgot to follow up on that. So yeah, I'm asking him right now, so I will be confirming that within the next day. But make sure to go check out BCG's Discord for the content creator stuff if you're interested in doing content creation and would like a little bit of help, or if you would like to give a little bit of help. But otherwise, I think it's been a pretty good stream. I'm excited to see what happens July 9th when the NDA drops. And
I forgot about that. That is soon.
Almost there.
It's so
like
close. Yep. And we have a whole lineup for July. We have Telcar, we have Richie, we have Liam, we have Illyrion, we have Reckless OG coming back on with us for the end of July.
Right.
So
Wow, it's gonna be like 2 years since he was in.
right, pretty much. Roughly 3 weeks. Yeah, give or take. I think maybe 3 weeks. It's coming
The
soon.
9th? 2 weeks. 2 weeks exactly.
TM. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Exactly 2 weeks.
Which the NDA is dropped for, so you never know. You might see us do a completely different kind of podcast on the 9th.
We might have to move this one to another day, and then we'll be doing live streams on that day.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right? Who knows? But
You can do the podcast while you stream Ashes. Just sit somewhere in a tavern.
There
yeah, there you go. But
All right, well,
just want to say
thank you, everybody.
yes. Thank you, BCG.
Thanks for having me. Be back in 1 year. Just check. The last time I was on was a year ago.
The yearly visit.
The yearly visit.
No, Necrokies, I was actually going to say we would like you on, but I didn't want to like interrupt, the podcast. That'd be cool.
Oh,
But,
no. Yes, thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Your time is valuable. Your time is precious. You do not get it back. And you decided to spend it here instead of hanging out with Grandma baking cookies. So
There you
we
go.
appreciate
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you people? Cookies are awesome.
But thank you so much, and let me update this real quick before I send you that direction. And just remember, we are live on Fridays at 7 p.m. unless we say otherwise, because I think there's somebody that we have coming up where we're going to be on a different day with them than normally. It might be a Saturday instead of a Friday. So just keep that in mind. Normally here 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific time, and stuff and things.
And such.
I'm totally
Isn't it
trying.
from Parks and Recreation? Stuff and things.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I just took it from him. So, but yeah, see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Thank you, BCG, for joining us. And
Bye.
we can't wait to show you Ashes.
Later on.